So, you want to learn how to make hand paws. Well, from the person who brought you this tutorial, now you have this one. Yeah, so I'm going to be showing you my process on how I make these. I don't know if I would really call this a tutorial. I feel like it's just a sloppy representation on how I make them because 1, I can't talk, and 2, I apparently can't film well. So yeah, sorry. But anyways, let's get started. So first we're going to start with our pattern. So if you don't have a pattern, just go ahead, get a piece of paper, I don't know, trace your hand, measure some things. You can also look at other people's for inspiration like mine, but just try and create your own. So I'm going to be showing you mine now. First you have the fursuit paw lining, and I like to just label my patterns and also say how much pieces I need. Here's the front and back piece. It's the same thing. It's just the paw pad, and I also like to add arrows for which direction the fur needs to go. Here's the outer finger and the inner finger. You can see that there's the claw line. These are the darted fingers, by the way. And here's the inner finger and the outer finger for the paw pad part, and you can see that I cut the circle for the paw pads. And lastly is the claw. You actually don't need a claw if you don't want one, but I'm using a claw for mine. And I also cut these out too, but I guess you don't really need them because I ended up cutting a circle on my paw pad fingers. That way that when I trace it, it'll be in the same spot every time, so it's just nice. And I didn't do a video of me cutting out the fabric, so we'll just pretend that this is the fabric. You're just going to take your pattern. I also put pins down sometimes just to hold it down better. So yeah, just put those there, and then you're just going to go ahead and trace it. Trace the paw pad if it's there. Take it off, and then you can see that there's the lining there. And also when you cut it out, make sure you leave like a 1/4 inch of space for seam allowance. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just allows you to sew on the sewing machine, which I do. Also, if you do not have one of these, I highly suggest you get one because you get like fur fibers everywhere and it gets all over your hands and it's just really annoying. I hate it. Anyways, on to shaving. So your set of razors should have a long and short blade setting. So first you're going to take your long setting and shave off most of it. So then it should look something like this, still kind of long. And you also have those long fibers at the end, as you can see there. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and just kind of cut those off and get them out of the way. I also like to turn it on this side, just because it's better to see. And so then it should look something like this. And then just go ahead and take your razors again on the short blade setting and then shave it, and then it's done. So yeah, here is your shaved finger. It's not too long, not too short, it's just perfect. I'm just gonna dispose of this. And then I also didn't really film this part very well, but what you're gonna do for the paw pad part of the hand is just kind of shave like half of it with just a little bit. So use your long blade setting because I just feel like if those long fibers were in the way, it'd just be kind of annoying. Alright, and here is a picture of all of the 16 fingers. I feel like shaving is my least favorite part, but it's just something you gotta do. So now on to sewing. So first what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your darted finger and your claw and you're just gonna put them together. It's a pretty simple part, so just make sure you get the claw line. And you can see here I'm kind of struggling a little bit because it's just so slippery and I don't know why, but once you actually get it in the spot, go ahead and take your clips, which these are really nice. They're much better than pins. just go ahead and clip it, and then you're going to sew on that line. And then you can also turn it inside out just to kind of see what it will look like, and also make sure that your claw is going the right way. So here's a shot of me sewing it. You're probably not going to see a lot of these shots just because I feel like they don't look great, but I tried. And there you go, it's done. Here's a little better shot of it. You can see there's the outside. Looks pretty good. And here's the inside. And I also like to cut on that part that I sewed, just so it looks better. Alright, so now you're going to take that sewn finger and sew it to the hand part. Also, sorry I didn't really show me clipping it together, but I'll do it on the other side. And then here is a video of the complete side with the darted fingers. Most of it looks pretty good, but for some reason, like the claws, some of them don't want to stay straight, and I actually do have a little solution to that later on. Alright, and here is a picture of both of them complete. So now on to the paw pad. So you're going to take your desired minky. Make sure that it is going either up or down, not sideways, and then you're going to take your scissors and cut a square like this, and then make sure that the square is a little bigger than the paw pad, just so there's a bunch of room. And of course, if it's the bigger paw pad, make sure you have a bigger square. And here's a picture of the cut pieces. Also, I know the fur fibers are really annoying, but this minky gets everywhere. It's so bad. Anyways, but take your finger and take your square. Make sure you have your clips also. And you're going to just put it on top and sew a circle. So I like mine going up, but some people might like theirs going down. It's just whatever you prefer. But I like mine going up, so just make sure you turn it over. Put it on top. And then you're going to sew that circle. So then take your clips. I cannot do this with one hand, sorry, but you can just clip on as many sides as you want, just make sure that it is secure. And also make sure you have a thread that is the same color as the minky. And for this, I like to use a stronger stitch just because it holds better. And I've also seen some people, they take their finger and they already cut the circle of fabric. And I just don't know how they do that. Like, I don't think I would have enough confidence to sew a curved line right along the fabric. Like, I just don't know how they do it. But that's not how I do it. So anyway, so this is what it looks like when it's done, all sewn up. Here's the back side, the side where I sewed on. And what you're going to do now is you're going to, you can see that there's a lot of fabric, extra fabric. So you're going to just cut as much as you can off for now. So then it looks something like this. But before you do that, also, I've seen some people, they sew most of the circle and then they leave like a little hole and then that's where they put their stuffing in. But that's just not how you do it. I don't know how they do that. But a much easier way, I figured this out. I thought I was the only one who knew this, but apparently a lot of people do this, but you're just going to cut like a little slit there, and then that's where you're going to put your stuffing, just on the back side. So it's really nice. So then there it is, it's all stuffed, and this is what it looks like. So there's no having to sew up a hole or anything. So now what you're going to do is now you can take your scissors and cut right up against the line. So then you get this. This is the complete paw pad. This part does take a little while, but it's definitely worth it and it looks really good. And here's a little glimpse of the bigger paw pad. These ones are a little harder. Of course, it's because there's a lot more space, but there's only 2 of them, so it's not that bad. And here's a video of all of them sewn up. And also a little picture of me in the cutting process. And you can see it's getting a little darker out now, but I finally completed all of them and trimmed all of them. Just keeps on going. Wow. Alright, so what you're going to do now is you're going to take your finger and sew it on the paw pad part of the hand. So just go ahead and line it up, then clip it, and then you're just going to sew it. So here's a little picture of me sewing it. It's getting a little late at night, but I just had to get that step done. And here is a picture of all the 4 sides done. And also, before we move on, I said earlier about how the claws weren't really straight, so a little thing you can do to help that is I just did it just now. I never did it before, but I just kind of hot glued it in place, and it kind of worked, so I'm pretty happy about that. But that's something you can do if you are having the same problem as I was. So now you are going to literally sew those 2 pieces together. So make sure it's turned inside out. Place it on top, and then you're going to go ahead and clip it along the lines like this, and just go ahead and sew it up. This part is a little tricky too. It's the hardest part in the process, I think, because you're literally sewing the 2 pieces together, so just be really careful. And also you can take out the stuffing because I feel like it's easier to sew because it's not in the way. Alright, and here's the 2 skins all sewn up. Obviously they're not stuffed yet, but this part is done. And I just remember at this point being so happy because my paws before these, like my first successful paws, I guess, they took me like over a month because I just didn't know what I was doing and it was just really hard. But now since I do know what I'm doing, this just took me a couple days, so I was just really proud about it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to turn them back inside out and you are going to close up those holes. And for me, when I first did this, I was like, wait, why does this even matter? They're not even showing. But it's not because of like the way it looks. It's literally for the sole purpose of closing up the holes. You don't want stuffing like to come out when your paws are already all closed up because that would be bad. So just make sure that you do this step. You can pretty much take any color thread, it doesn't really matter because you won't see it, but just go ahead and close up those holes. I think this took me about like an hour. It's not too bad. So here's me closing them up. You got 1, 2, 3, and the last one. And there you go. It is all done. You are finally done with the sewing process at this point, besides sewing the lining on. But yeah. And now I'm going to wait like 3 weeks because I accidentally ordered my lining just now when I normally would have done it before I started the paws. So because of this whole virus thing, I have to wait a long time. So yeah, I guess I will see you guys soon. Alright, I am back and the current date is actually July 2nd. It has been a whole 3 months since I started the paws back in April. So yeah, I had to take a break for a little while because I had a lot of things going on. Like I had to register for college and make sure that that was all good. And I had my birthday and a bunch of other things. So that's why I was gone. But I am back and I'm ready to pick up this tutorial and finally finish it. So in that case, Now we are going to start with the fursuit paw lining, which I actually have now. So take that pattern piece and get your fabric. For mine, I have these beautiful dinosaurs. They look awesome. And the type of fabric you're gonna want is sport lycra. I think that's just the best kind. Honestly, you can do whatever you want, but this one's just thin and stretchy, so it's a good fit. So go ahead and fold it in half and then turn it over. And I like barely have enough room for mine. Make sure you line it up, and for some reason, like the fabric I order has these weird like white borders because it was printed, so I have to make sure I line it up. So you can see that I barely have enough room. So what I had to do is I actually had to do one facing up and one facing down, as you can see when it comes up next in the picture right here, which you can barely see the tracing because it's super light. But then I go ahead and I started sewing it. I like to use a strong stitch for this just so it doesn't break apart because it's, again, a stretchy fabric. And here's both of them sewn. It doesn't have to look perfect, obviously, because it's gonna be on the inside, so I just don't worry about that, really. Alright, so now you are going to cut just along the edges, so yeah, then it'll look like this, all nice and done. And that's me trying it on. It's pretty comfortable. And then the next step is you're going to get your hand sewing supplies, needle, thread, blah blah blah, and attach the lining to the paw. And I like to do it on the paw pad side just because it's better that way. So go ahead and hand sew each of the fingers at the top, and then I also like to do just the sides so it's secure. Alright, so here's it all done. Looks pretty good. Very nice and secure. Sometimes I like to put my hand in there and like test it out, make sure it's tight. So it's good. Alright, so I turned it back inside out, and the fingers are already stuffed. Basically what you do is you just put the stuffing in between the lining and the actual paw, so it's not like obviously by the fingers. So like right there is what I mean, in between there. So that's how I do it. It's a pretty easy step. I didn't feel like I had to show it, but yeah, just that's what you do. It doesn't take very long. And so now you're going to take your scissors and just cut right along where it meets with the paw end. And then you're just going to hand sew it. I clipped it to make it easier. Here's a picture of me working on it. And now both of them are done. You don't have to do a great job on this part either because you're going to put the nice trimming around it. But I just go all out because I just want to make sure it's, again, secure. So now you're going to do the trim lining. So I'm using Minky for this, which I feel like is like the hardest kind to do, but oh well. Mine are 10 by 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. That's just the size that works for me. And then I have this really neat sewing foot tool. It makes I don't remember what it's called. Is it, no, not hebbing or bias or something. I have no idea. But yeah, it's really nice. But while I was doing this, the Minky or whatever decided to get stuck in the thing, which was so dumb. I don't know why. It just is a stretchy, kind of thinner fabric. So it got stuck, and this is pretty much what happened. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but like, this thing is stuck. The freaking Minky got stuck. Like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Gonna have to like freaking unscrew this thing. This is the second time. I'm just done. I'm done. Oh my gosh. So when I took the thing off, like, I didn't realize how much fur there was in here. Like, it's not like I've never taken it off, like I have, but like literally just after these paws, like, what the heck? This is not okay. So yeah, that was that. Anyways, so let's move on. So once you actually do it correctly, which I did, you're gonna get something that looks like this, with the nice edges. I took a picture because I thought I did a really good job in that part. Then you're gonna make a ring, and then you're going to clip it. This is a little tricky too, just because it's a weird shape. But these clips are really helpful for that. So once that's done, you just sew it. And this is what it turned out to be. I don't really think I do a good job still, just because I haven't done a lot of these. But I think for far away, it looks pretty okay. So that's why I took this video, like, showing you. But yeah, it's not bad. And so here is the end result of the video of the paws. I'm pretty proud of these. I'm gonna be sad when I have to sell them, but I think I did a good job, so they're really cool. Hey guys, just want to say again, thank you so much for watching this tutorial video. If you liked it, you can go ahead and leave like a like or a subscribe. I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, so basically, this is going to be the end of my fursuit journey, sadly. I'm not going to be making anything else. I didn't even make a lot of things in the first place. But yeah. So I'm just going to be also doing this end card thing, so you can listen in if you want. But yeah, I had to end it because I'm going to be pretty busy this fall because I'm going to attend college. So that's that. But you can still follow my art account on Instagram. It's at ocean.0. I'm pretty much always going to be drawing still, so that's where I'm going to be mainly active. But another thing, I actually got a embroidery machine back in December, and I started kind of experimenting with like making a plushie of my fursona. So that's fun, because it's always nice to try new things. So here's an actual picture of her. I think it looks pretty good so far, but I had to stop working on it because like I said, I was busy for a couple months, but I'm gonna pick it up now since I finally finished all my fursuit things, and after like my birthday, the holidays are over. Wait, holidays? 4th of July, that's like the only holiday. But yeah, so that's that. I guess I'll kind of keep people updated on my art account how the plushie's going. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So thank you guys again for watching it, and I will maybe see you soon. Bye.